Carla, já viste há quanto tempo é que a gente não mete nada no YouTube?
Então temos de resolver isso.
Bora lá?
So it's been a while since we've posted a video on YouTube, and that's because we've been working on a brand new European Portuguese program called The Journey. We have something very exciting to share with you at the end of this video you will not want to miss. But you came here for the sound of the letter R, so let's start with that. Pronunciation of the letter R. And this is probably one of the most difficult sounds to pronounce in the European Portuguese language. We have two ways of doing it, perhaps a third way, but not as common. So we're going to focus on the main two. And just that it may be difficult for you, it might be a little bit challenging for me to explain, but we will work on it together. All right. So the part of the mouth that we use on this is the uvula, which is in the back of your mouth, that little dangling thing. And we use that part of the mouth, or we use the uvula to make the sound k for K, for example. And with the R is the same. You just, with the hard R, you do feel your uvula vibrating. So we're going to follow 7 steps that should help you pronounce this hard R in Portuguese, like the French R. So the first thing that you do is you put your head up, you look up to the ceiling, and you make the sound k, 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 k. Okay? Now keep your head up and try and make the sound of the K continuously. As you do this is step number 4. You might have to dwell a little longer on this step. Move your tongue about, try and work with your muscles in order to change that k that's so close to the ch. This is actually the sound or what your throat makes when you're gargling. Okay, so let's try again. For me is easy, but you might have to take a little bit longer on this. Once you've mastered that step, try and just do little bursts of it. Now straighten up your head and try again. Now practice adding a vowel to it. So start off with just and then use your vocal cords. Ha, he, he, ho, hu. So we pronounce the R this way when the R is the first letter of the word or when there's 2 R's in the word. Let's look at examples. Região, rádio, rato. And I'm overstressing it a little bit for your sake. Rua, resto, rolha. I'll say these words again, this time in a more natural way for me. Região, rádio, rato, rua, resto, rolha. Now the words with a double R in it. Carro, serra, corre, arrogante, sorriso, arroz. And again, a bit slower. Carro, serra, corre, arrogante, sorriso, arroz. Now in the north of Portugal, and it may have happened that you've heard the R being pronounced slightly different, is the rolled R, and it's quite common in the north of Portugal. It's a pronunciation closer to the Spanish R, and this is when your tongue, the tip of your tongue, touches the alveolar ridge, and that's right behind your teeth, your top teeth. You know, the rough part of the roof of your mouth, that's the little bit that it touches when you do r, r. And some people may pronounce radio that way. Carro, rolla. But the most common one is the ch, as I just taught you. So keep practicing. Now the other R, the soft R, is very similar to the way some people in the north do the hard one, okay? But it's just a very close or quick tap to that ridge, to the alveolar ridge, okay? Again, behind your top teeth, top, that rough bit. Think about how the Americans pronounce their T's in some words, such as cater or cater, attic, better, butter, water. Did you notice what the tongue was doing as you were saying these words that way? Let's do it again. Cater, attic, better, butter, water. You're making that R that we want for the Portuguese words. So that first example I gave you, cater. Let's drop the last R. Cater, cater. So we're actually saying a Portuguese word. Cater. May you want. Cater. So if this is not a natural sound to you because you're not American or the version of English that you speak does not really make that sound when you pronounce the T, perhaps you could think of the Scottish accent. So this is my best Scottish accent. Let's think of the word great. Great, great, gre, grelos. Portuguese word for you. If you mastered it, great. If not, let's think of another way. A D in the word or name Adams. Adams. When you say that name quickly, or even when you say the D quickly, you're not far off the R that we want, that soft R. Adams. Ad. So try and say and then bring the tip of your tongue. Let's say when you're doing the D, you're doing this. When you want to do that R, you will maybe bend your tongue upwards a little, and the tip of your tongue will go further back in your mouth. Adams. Área. Portuguese word for you. Área. And that happens, that sound is pronounced that way when the R is in the middle of words or is the last letter in a word. Examples. Carta, caro, próxima, corpo, adoro, mar, beber, abrir, adorar. And two last examples with both the R's in. Rir, rir, correr, correr. And these might be the most challenging words for you to pronounce because you have two tricky sounds in it. But take your time, keep pronouncing, do not give up. Now, when you have the R with consonants such as T, D, or C, words such as trago, droga, cravo, if you're finding it difficult to pronounce these words, perhaps you want to split the T from the R a little bit. Maybe throw in a silent E in there. Trago, droga, cravo. And then say it quicker. Trago, 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 trago. Droga, 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 droga. Cravo, 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 cravo. Okay, so keep practicing. It's not a sound that will come maybe quickly because it's not something you have done for many years, for all your life. So don't give up. It's just like when you're learning how to whistle. We've said this before. And you keep trying every day, all day sometimes, and all of a sudden it comes. So I think it'll be the same with the pronunciation of the letter R. And perhaps you want to do that with songs. So just singing along to songs that have these words full of R's, and when you least expect it, it'll come out of your mouth. We hope that helped. Now, grab your headphones, crank up that volume, and set the video to full screen. Here's what we've been working on.
És a Carla, filha do Felipe, da Almeida.
Conhecia o meu pai?
Posso dizer que era um bom homem.
Pois, talvez na sua opinião, mas um homem que abandona a filha e a mulher, para mim, na minha opinião, não pode ser um bom homem. O seu pai deixou-lhe uma herança. Hoje à noite, às 9 horas, terão um carro à vossa porta. Entrem nele se quiserem obter mais informações.
Sua herança é muito maior do que vocês imaginam.
Duvido. Ele nunca teve um tostão enquanto vive.
Ele apenas deixou isto.
E é suposto fazermos o quê com isto?
Sigam o símbolo.
Trabalho, meu caro Watson.
So what do you think of that? But you might be wondering, what does that have to do with learning a language? You see, every single dialogue has been meticulously written to highlight an aspect of the language. I will then explain this element of the language in a video lesson. Possessive determiners or pronouns. There are over 70 of these that cover European Portuguese pronunciation and grammar. Reflexive verbs. The letter S. Particípio passado. Pretérito imperfeito. Ser ou estar. Por or para. Futuro imperfeito. Adjectives. Haver. Pretérito mais que perfeito. Composto do conjuntivo. Don't worry about this one just yet. It's a little further down in your journey. Anyway, we try to make these as interesting as possible. So with a Scottish accent, I'm assuming it will be de, and there are no exceptions. Every verb follows this pattern. Now that's only the start. We prepared extra video sketches to further expose and help you practice that particular component of the language.
Muito boa tarde. Seja bem-vindo ao Hotel Lisboa Viva. Faça favor.
Olhos lá! Fresquinho!
Okay. Now every one of these is followed by an explanation of the dialogue in both Portuguese and English. And there's more. Over 1,500 exercises, memorized vocabulary packs for every lesson, tailored homework, cultural videos, forums accessed by only those learning European Portuguese, a toolbox with animated video tips and tricks, and a few more things we have neither time nor space to mention here. So, are you ready to start your journey into European Portuguese fluency? Then go to portuguesewithcarla.com or ptwithcarla.com/start. Até já!